Ames International. We find and grow your leaders. And welcome to the Tips and Tricks podcast series, written by Gregoire Depassage and Leonie Pence. In our practice as executive search and HR consultants, we are confronted daily with candidates, their history, their approach, their beliefs, right or wrong, their attitudes and tactics, and are privileged observers of their interaction with recruiters and line managers. This is an attempt to share the lessons learned and give some practical tips as to how to improve your chances in the market. Some of the things listed will seem obvious, but you'd be surprised by how often we see even seasoned managers make mistakes they could easily avoid. This is episode 6, Acing the Interview. Don't wing your way through the meeting. Ensure you have prepared and then prepare again. How many job interviews will you go to in your life? For most of us, I'm sure it's not many. Therefore, this is a major event. Treat it like that. Now that you've done all your preparation, obviously see our previous episode, preparing for the interview, the day has finally come for your interview. Arrive on time. It goes without saying that you should never ever arrive late for a job interview. However, arriving too early is just as bad. 10 minutes before is the earliest you should arrive in the reception area or office where you'll be interviewed. In some instances, like at power plants, it could take 30 minutes to get through the safety and security procedure. In this case, make sure you are prepared for this and work it into your travel time. If you arrive right in front of the office building entrance where you'll be interviewed an hour before the allotted time, go for coffee or even sit in your car until 10 minutes before. Don't go inside and sit staring at the receptionist for an hour. Everybody will panic and check their schedules to make sure they didn't muddle up something. Not a great way to start. Stay cool. Some companies seem to like very high temperatures in their boardrooms. I haven't quite worked it out if this has anything to do with intimidation tactics, saving the world, or whether they all simply enjoy a tropical climate. A note on the climate aspect, stay cool by wearing natural fibers and layers that you could remove and still look professional if need be. Most interviewees wouldn't mind if you take your jacket off while asking, "Would you mind if I remove my jacket?" Once you have turned up looking all smart in your 3-piece suit, of course. Very importantly, this advice also relates to your emotions. Sometimes, luckily not often, interviewers can get a kick out of making the interviewee uncomfortable, throwing difficult curveballs and sometimes even pointedly pushing you into a corner to see how you would react under pressure, or to see if you could think on your feet or how you would react in a potentially controversial debate. Always stay calm. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be authentic though, but if the culture doesn't suit you, best you are the one to decide that and not them. Do not shoot from the hip, but rather ask questions to try and get behind the real meaning of a possibly ambiguous question. Be genuinely interested. Acting as if you aren't really interested is the worst negotiation tactic ever. Employers want to feel that you take a genuine interest in the role, the company, and them as people. You can always withdraw from the process if the position or the package doesn't suit you, but acting in this way will only come across as arrogant. Rather be yourself and open up in order to elicit the same response from the interviewer. Be genuine and honest, confident and professional, but not arrogant. Keep your communication concise. They have a time deadline. You want them to not fall asleep and ask you to come back for another meeting. Therefore, answer in the short version. More words will not make the answer more intelligent. In this case, less is more. Think, answer, keep quiet. Often candidates get nervous and, when not getting an immediate response after their initial answer, keep going and going and going and going. Mostly the interviewers will be taking notes. Therefore, it might take a few seconds before the next question. Silence is your friend. You don't need to fill it. Take some controlled risks. Be prepared to take some sort of risk and commit when you answer questions. There is, of course, a chance that your answer may not be the right answer, But the worst would be if nobody remembered you 5 minutes after the interview because you only supplied the interviewers with catch-all answers. Be careful with behavioral and repetitive questions. If the interviewer asks you a behavioral question, such as give us an example of, tell us about a situation where, they want to ascertain that you have the right behavior and learn about your personality. Be sure to answer with clear and concrete examples and don't be vague. Always be specific. Also, if an interviewer keeps reformulating the same question or asks about the same topic, it means you are not supplying the expected answer. They're actually trying to help you by asking again. Rather than panic and lose control, just say that you aren't really getting the point they're hinting at and ask them directly. Don't offer unsolicited advice. Never ever do this, not under any circumstances. Don't start telling them how to run their business. This will make you come across as the know-it-all. No one wants to employ those kind of people. Answer questions as directly and as honestly as you can, without ever telling them they are stupid or missing the point or using terms like, let me tell you how it works. Instead, rather ask them whether they have considered another way, perhaps hinting at your great idea first, just to test the waters. Chances are they already have tried your idea, and there's an obvious reason why it won't work. And then you might start wishing the tropical boardroom climate will grow into a carnivorous plant that can swallow you whole. Don't criticize anybody ever, and especially not your former employer. If there were disagreements, say so in a neutral way, such as we had different views on the strategy or we didn't get along so well on a personal level, and try to move along. Don't ask about compensation and benefits before they bring up the subject. This creates a very bad impression and the feeling that you are more interested in money and holidays than the actual job. If you came through an executive search consultant, the company will already be aware of your expectations. Interviewing is a two-way street. Often clients forget this. You are as much there to check out the company, culture, and management as the company is there to interview you. Use this time smartly to ask the right questions, the ones you've been preparing for the last week and noted down on your tablet or notebook. This will also give you some control to set the tone of the meeting. You don't need to wait till the end to start asking questions. Instead, interact during the meeting by asking questions as the topics arise. During the meeting is a great time to also throw a few intelligent and informed questions at the interviewers, showing them that you have considered their business, and show a keen interest in what they do and how they do it is sure to come across very, very well. Be careful with thank you notes and follow-ups. Most people counsel to write a thank you note after the interview. This can be a good idea, but it also could just as easily backfire and ruin a positive impression. Be careful with the formulation. Be sincere and stay professional and concise. The same rules apply with follow-ups. Not too often and not too quickly. On the other hand, make sure that you give quick and accurate feedback by phone or email to your executive search consultant so that he or she can negotiate the next steps on your behalf when the client calls. You now should have a much better idea of the role, what it would take to make a success out of it, and if it is a fit for you. If you are not sure and need more information to be able to make an informed decision, ask for it. If the company is interested in you, this is the best time to make sure you get all the information before going to the next step. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Tips and Tricks podcast. Head over to our website, aimsinternational.com, for all 6 episodes of the series. Have any questions? Be sure to contact us. Aims International, we find and grow your leaders.